I finally came on. Something going on in my computer today.
That's
Must
probably
be what you watch.
that's why you got that's IT behind him there. Somebody had to figure it out for him.
It is my IT right there. She said, "I'm
We've
going
got
live
people
with you
from
tonight."
all over. We've got people. Where, Chris? Are you back east again?
I am in Indiana.
There you go. And we got Derek, fresh off the field from Russia.
Just got back with his. Well, he don't do Lycas no more. He does those Malamules or whatever. What are they? What are those?
I have a Malinois, but yeah.
Oh, you practicing to be a cop?
She's trying to see if she can hack it for detection. We'll see if she can do it or not.
Well, she'd be good at biting people.
Oh my goodness! I had to swap internets. My internet just jumped to my other internet. Jeez. I just reset everything so it'd be good for Chris Powell.
Whatever.
It's all about Chris Powell. We're going to talk about that dirty old auction this weekend. And all because of Chris Powell.
It wasn't all because of me. Trey and Wade did a lot of, they're the ones that started that whole thing. Yep.
Justin was there. Brandon was there. I don't know where Brandon is. He said he was my date tonight, and he stood me up already.
Yeah, imagine that.
Brandon who?
Brandon Chevrolet. What?
You guys are good friends, huh?
Brandon's small block Chevy.
It's Chevrolet. He's Canadian.
I got you.
I heard him say it once. That's the only reason I know. Because if I read it, it says Chevrafils. So
I call him Chevelis.
That's how I read it too. I don't even say it.
He might try to act like a Chevelle, but he's more like a Chevette.
Yeah, he was the tall guy with the kind of tattoos on his arms that was with me, Chris, most of the time.
Okay, I got you.
Mm-hmm. He was the guy with the Coors Light in his hand all the time.
So that was half the crowd there.
If Shorty would have been there, I wouldn't have known who he was.
Yeah.
I believe if you cut Shorty, beer comes out.
Yeah, very possible.
If you sweated it, you could probably refine it. 102 degrees in Phoenix. I talked
there
to
we go
today. That's horrible.
Yeah, it's hot. It's
no fun.
It hasn't been as bad as last year, though. I have noticed that. Because when you
guys are a bunch of freaking sissies. I'm telling you what. You come back here on 95 degrees when the dew point's like 80 degrees.
Yeah, we don't do humidity.
Sucks.
Everybody says that, but I'll take it over this.
No, you will not. I promise you.
He's a Virginia boy, that guy right there, though.
Oh,
yeah.
You do not. No way.
I'm telling you,
cannot want the humidity over what you got.
I do. The sunlight is just too much, man. It cooks me.
I'll tell you one thing that's crazy is like you know, when you start rising in elevation and you start taking some of those layers of the ozone away, the sun gets a lot more intense.
It does.
Yep. I just hate feeling like I'm swimming as soon as I walk out the door.
I can imagine, but here, when it's 115, it just feels like you got an angry ass devil following you around with a hairdryer all day.
The only humidity is your swamp ass.
Oh yeah, I create my own humidity.
Yeah,
when we were in Desert Storm, I mean that was a whole different heat over there in that desert, and I mean you had to be conscious of drinking water, and the corpsmen would come around, they'd run up to you and it's like, are you drinking water? You know, we would actually have everybody take a full canteen and down a full canteen as a fire team leader. That's what you had to do to keep people, from going down from heat casualty.
You make them drink it and then you stand there for about 5-10 minutes because then everybody has to piss.
Oh yeah.
And I went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma for my basic, and I thought it was humid there. And then I went to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, And I remember it being like 45, 50 degrees in the morning with like 80% humidity.
Yeah.
So you went out there and you're just shorts and shirt. When you first get there, you go out there in your sweats. And then you learn real quick that humidity will just make you dirty quick. No matter how cold it is, when you got that humidity, you're sweating.
Yeah.
Sweating.
I've been colder in Indiana at 30, 35 degrees than like anywhere in Montana. We pulled out of the Swan Valley one year and it was minus 22 the day we pulled out. And I was just in a, like a hoodie loading the truck. And I got in the truck and it says minus 22. We knew it was going to be cold. But when I got in the truck and it said minus 22, I was like, bull crap. There's no way it's minus 22. And I got down, I thought my truck was off, the thermometer in my truck was off. I got down to Sealy Lake there and the bank thermometer said minus 22 or 23 or something. I was like, wow.
Yeah,
You know what?
That's what I always told them boys in Alaska too. That they'd be like, "Oh, we think of this cold. We think of this cold." I was like, "Coldest I ever been was at Brookville Lake at 2 a.m. in February." Bud, I'm telling you,
Alaska
it's just
so
Alaska
cold.
isn't, but it's not.
Go ahead.
It doesn't like soak into you like it does in the Midwest when it's 5 below or something.
What lake did you say?
At Brookville Lake, right there in Franklin County, coon hunting at Brookville Lake, coldest I ever been in my life.
Franklin County, Indiana?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That's like 40 minutes north of me.
Yep.
Yep.
My sister lives in Friendship.
No way. That's like 10 miles from me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Alaska's so cold that when we'd get the trucks from Alaska in Arizona, we still had to use ether because the blocks would never thaw out. Called them ether babies because they use ether so much in Alaska that those engines will not start unless you give them some ether. So we always made fun that they still haven't thawed out from Alaska.
That's funny. I've seen some wild stuff up there. Lighting charcoal under your oil pan for 2 hours to get the engine warm.
Where's that place up there where they just leave their trucks running all winter?
North Dakota.
Oh, yeah, they do that on the slope too. They just don't shut them off.
Yeah, in North Dakota in the oil fields, they will. They can't shut them off.
That's the same in Arizona. You don't shut your truck off in the summer. You just leave the AC on all night. If you're in Arizona and you get out, you go run into Circle K and turn your truck off and come back out, you're burning your hands, you're burning your ass, you're burning everything.
Oh, yeah.
It's just hot. But I tell you what, the desert, we have a lot of people die here because no matter how hot it is, they'll get out in that desert thinking, man, it was 100 degrees today, and they will literally freeze at night. Because sometimes you get in that desert, and that desert will get cold at night. It's amazing stuff. So, anyways, enough about weather. Fall's coming soon. This year has blown by.
Let's go.
It's almost August.
It's coming for me quicker than you think. I'm getting out of this valley of hell.
Like as we speak.
Yep. Close.
Going north.
Monday officially.
Yes, sir. There you go.
So this weekend was a horse, hounds, and mules auction. And it's the first time I've been there. And I really dig the registered horse auctions or auctions like this that are more specialized because like I said before, I used to be an auction junkie. So you were really like, I could buy a $5,000 horse and it'd only be a $600 horse, or I'll buy a $600 horse. It'll turn out a $5,000 horse because in those auctions, they're painting toenails and putting lipstick on. And I think these auctions like this, that's why I kind of dig them, is most of the people, 90% or 95%, except for Shorty Gorham, who sold something, didn't show up, I had to call him out on that, they're there. And it's their animal. It's their dog. It's their, I know Jared Nichols and I know Johnson, all them guys, and it's their mules. And man, I'm going to tell you what right now, the most I'm ever impressed with is those Amish mules. I mean,
good mule.
They're no joke. They're no joke. They're born in their kitchen and live in their living room, it looks like. A lot of time. You know, you
Yeah.
could tell there's a lot of time. But putting it together was probably pretty easy, right, Chris?
Oh yeah. I'll tell you what. Yeah, that side of it, that's Trey and Wade. All of that stuff of them finding that stock and getting those consigners and putting that sale together. That's all on Trey and Wade. Yep.
Yep. You know, and it feels like all that work you put in for months and months, and it's over like that too. You know, almost like it should be a 2-3 day auction. As much work as goes into those.
It feels like it today. When you're there on Thursday, you pull in on Wednesday, you get there on Thursday, or you start setting up on Thursday. Man, I was scrambling all weekend. Just taking just everything. I mean, people were coming up to the table, and it's like, hey, we got this problem, we got that problem, and so that's what it was all about for me, was just trying to keep everything running smooth. And Wade's one of those guys that it's like, hey, let's do a trail ride. When are we going to do the trail ride, Wade? Let's do it right now. And he can draw a crowd, man, for a 20. I mean, that guy's 23 years old. And after Mike Leonard played on Friday night, I looked over there, and he's sitting around the table, and he's got everybody in stitches, just telling stories and stuff like that. And it's like, he's a special talent. He's cowboy to the core, no doubt.
I think your real deal cowboys just have that knack. I mean, even out hunting, I've been out hunting and ran across 60, 70-year-old, not so sober cowboys, and they still knew exactly where every rock was. I mean, I was hunting elk in a unit one time, and man, they had to be 5, 6 in the morning, about 7 or 8 by the time we caught up to him. Man, he was 3 sheets to the wind. He had a lot of whiskey or Baileys in that coffee cup or whatever, but he told us, go here, go there. He said, there's 1,000 elk in this valley. And of course, you're like, oh, okay. I don't know how many shots that took, but man, we got over there, and I sat there and I glassed. I didn't see nothing. I'm like, oh, that old drunk cowboy. And then all of a sudden, they just start popping in. There's one bedded. There was hundreds of elk in that
and then
valley.
You saw 1,002.
And then I seen 1,002 and only killed one.
Yeah, you need to point me to that valley in October. I need to find.
Hey, just go to 6A. If you got 6A, I'll take you.
I got a 3B, but
this pal looks like he's lost a tremendous amount of weight. You doing okay? Who's he talking about? Wade? Did Wade used to be a chubby boy or something?
No, he's talking about Chris.
He's talking about Chris. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I think I shaved.
Chris Powell looks like.
I shaved when I got home.
Yeah, you did.
How familiar are you with the movie Jeremiah Johnson? Remember when?
Oh, yep.
Yeah, Jeremiah Johnson was standing outside the cabin, and he looked at Swan, and Swan had that red face and everything all around her. And then he went down to the creek and shaved.
And
when my wife was going to work today, I shaved everything off, and she came in and looked at me. I was like, well, don't run off, woman.
Yeah, I haven't shaved in.
I'd be a single fella if I pulled that trick.
Someone told me, I was talking to Brand, he said shave. I said, if I shaved, they'd probably take me to jail because I probably look like child molester or something.
I haven't shaved since I was 18.
Yeah. The only time I was in the military, and that's
you do something to manicure that fine-looking beard there.
I trim it, but I've never shaved it off since I was 18.
See, when I try to grow facial hair, I had a mustache about like Benny's, not nearly as accomplished as Benny's. I'll say that, but when I start growing that out, man, it starts curling and going up my nose, and you try to eat something, and it's just like I don't do well with mustaches.
Yeah, mine gets that way. It's pretty curly, but I won't take it off. I'll look like I'm 15 years old, and 15 years old with no hair. So
see, I shave mine, and everybody thinks I've been working out and losing weight.
I only shave mine when I commit a felony, so no one will recognize who I am. I tell everybody. So did we?
Chris, did you
Yeah.
you notice that Bone Pile posted that twice? He's asking if Chris Powell's okay. He's stuttering with his fingers. I wonder if he's okay.
He must have got paid. He
Yeah.
must have got paid. Is what it
It's
is.
gonna be a wild one.
Yep. So what do you think of the auction this year, Chris? As far as a lot of pass-throughs and pricing, I feel like
A lot of no sales.
there was a lot of no sales. People didn't want to spend money maybe this year. There was some big buys.
Yeah.
I was sitting right next to that guy who bought that 15.5 spaded dog. Was that Breck Bean's dog or whoever?
No, that was GT Nunn's dog. Out of New
You're
Mexico.
talking about the POs and everything.
Yeah.
It wasn't really up from any other year on a percentage wise. Is just that there were 91 lots this year, which is the biggest sale that they've ever had, that we've ever pulled off. So, percentage wise, it wasn't really that far up. And then, a lot of that consignment stuff is it was a good sale. I mean, I think the everything was priced in a range that was fairly affordable. I mean, there were some mules that sold there that everybody was like, "Oh, that's too low," or, "Well, you should have bid on it." If you thought it was too low, just get your money. Get that bidder hand in there and buy it. But no, it really wasn't. Overall, the average was about where it needed to be and stuff like that. But my side of that whole thing. Trey and Wade are in charge of the sale. My deal comes in on the entertainment, all the other stuff, making sure that all works.
Okay.
That's the first time I've seen Mike
home
Glenn.
run this year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With Mike and Bobby Nell, you hit a home run.
That gal can sing.
They're good people.
Aren't they good, Benny?
Yeah.
I mean, I sat there. Mike put on that Cold Strike shirt and turned his cowboy hat around. And that was one of the most entertaining things that I have seen in a long time. I mean, he was telling that cowboy poem and he was rolling around in the dirt right out there in the show ring and telling this story. And it was awesome, and their music was good. Everything about Mike and Bobby Nell is just a class act. They are the most gracious people and just kind people that they're just people you want to be around.
Yeah. No, they were great. I got a chance to talk to both of them before the show when I gave Mike that shirt for Benny. And yeah, great people.
So you gave it to him for Benny and then he rolled around the mule shit?
Oh yeah.
And then he gave it to Benny. All right, I'm tracking now.
Yeah, it was a gift from Benny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Custom order.
His memory is ridiculous. I mean, just to remember those poems is ridiculous. But when he tells stories, it amazes me, like those Dale Lees and Warner Glenn's. I can hardly remember what I did today. And those guys are word for word, meticulous. I mean, points in their life that they remember from 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Well, that's because they didn't have 11 kids to ruin their memory. Brandon's right, though. Mike is. But all them old boys didn't have 12 kids to mess with their head all day either.
Maybe that's what it is.
John Clump's got some good stories, and he's got quite a bit of boys.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah,
Mike's like a freaking encyclopedia. When I was starting shopping for, a lead dog to kind of start replacing some of my old dogs and stuff, and I called Mike and talked to him for probably 2 hours, and I mean, it blew my mind about he doesn't just know, the greats of what type of dogs they have. He knows where their dogs came from originally, where they where these lines came from back east. Even, he knows the ins and outs of it all, and it was actually really nice just to talk to him, because I learned a ton just after a couple hours of being on the phone with him and picking his brain, and learned about who had what and what did this and who crossed what to what over the years, and when dogs eventually became these guys' line versus before, when they were just kind of using other guys' line of dogs and hunting within and mixing and crossing and this and that, and then when it finally became their line, and he knew it all. It was really incredible.
Yeah.
There's three things I've spent a lot of time with Mike, and there's three things that I've noticed that Mike's steel jaw mind that really drive him, and that's good horses, good dogs, and firearms. And I have not found anybody that can run a memory as good as Mike Leonard when it comes to those things.
Yep.
Chris, when you're bouncing back and forth, like to the auctions or like Autumn Oaks and all them play, I've never been to like the big coon stuff. I mean, is the climate like totally different? I mean, I'm sure there's some similarities, but you're talking about a whole different kind of a community and a way to hunt, as far as say dry ground and then the coon world.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it really doesn't.
They're all liars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know when a houndsman's lying, don't you? When his lips
mouth is moving.
Yeah. So, no, it's the common thread is coming around this sound of the hound. It's about like-minded people coming together, and it doesn't matter what you're chasing, whether you're chasing coyotes or you're chasing rabbits. Same way with beagle trials. Beagle trials are huge back here too.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a bunch of rabbit hunters together, and they start telling stories and gathering around the tailgate and things like that. But the whole purpose of the Horses, Hounds, and Mule sale is to build that sense of community within houndsmen and dogmen, bring them all together. And Autumn Oaks, Grand American, Winter Classic are all events back east that draw thousands of people, and they make huge impacts on their local communities. And like you take Autumn Oaks, for instance, they'll bring in 20,000 people in a weekend.
That's nuts.
When was it like $13 million that weekend last year before?
Yep. It's a multi-million-dollar weekend for the city of Richmond. So why is that important? In my mind, the reason that's important is because when people come after hound hunting and they want to take it away, then you've got the local state representative that's sitting there saying, "Wait a minute, money talks." You've got the mayor, you've got the city council, you've got the little old ladies from AmVets that show up to hand out poppies and just different stuff. And you build that event around that, and you make it valuable to the community. When you pull into Richmond, Indiana on Labor Day weekend, one thing, if you tried to get a hotel in Richmond right now in July, you can't do it. You're not going to get a room in Richmond, Indiana right now, but you probably wouldn't get one. I know you wouldn't get one back in March either. But when you pull in, the marquees are all saying, "Welcome, coon hunters." And this is a college town. This is a town that could be, somewhat liberal, but not in Indiana, because we haven't had a liberal government in our state for a long time. But those kind of events build a defense for houndsmen when you can pull that off. And that's what the goal is right here with the Horses, Hounds, and Mules sale. We want Arizona working dogs. We want Utah. We want New Mexico. We want Colorado. We want everybody to come together and showcase who we are and what we do.
No, and it does help, and it does bring a little revenue. Brought some of my revenue to that. Man, Durango.
Right.
Look, right here. This ain't styrofoam. This is from Durango. I brought it home like a souvenir because it's a plastic, because they don't allow styrofoam in Durango. And then you go to Walmart and they don't allow plastic bags. You have to pay 10 cents a bag for a paper bag because the governor said no. So let's cut down some trees instead of use all the leftover oil. It's just crazy there. It's crazy there. But they do got a good flea market. They got me. I spent some money before I left. Yeah.
Leave it up to you to find the flea market.
Man, the only thing I regret, there was a 32-pound bear longbow there. The guy only wanted $40 for it, and I made a circle around and forgot about it. Yeah.
Which model was it?
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you. I just seen a bear longbow for $40, and I should have grabbed it right then. But then I got sidetracked because I found a cast iron waffle maker with the base. You know, the one you put on the campfire or your stove. And he wanted a lot for it. My wife's all, no. And I tried to sneak off and go buy it, and she caught me. So I was kind of in trouble for that. She says, you'll find somebody that don't know what it's worth, and you'll get one. And I begged her all the way to the truck. I was like a little kid. I shut the doors and locked it so I could run away, but she was smart enough. I couldn't get it. He said, wait, you'll get one. You know, those are $200-$300 all over the internet, and it was in good shape. And oh well.
It's like, what do you mean we'll get one? There's one right here.
Yeah, get that one.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, I already had a handful of stuff. Some coffee pots I found. And then they had a old set of spikes, tree spikes for climbing trees, and I should have grabbed them. But the guy wasn't there, and I couldn't find him. He might only took $20 for him. Kind of a cool old sale. So,
you don't need any more stuff, man. You got so much stuff.
I know. Every time me and Brandon are talking, I'm like, "Hey, I got one of those. Look."
He's got so much empty space at his house. You know, he's got to get more things. You got to make it look lived.
3 acres full. I got 2 more acres.
Just needs a store called Chris's Interesting Stuff.
Like a museum.
I was going back to the sales stuff. I was really impressed with Trey's auctioneer skills, man. That blew me out of the water. I could not believe that. He was incredible. He did
his sidekick there running out, you know, tell him about it, and he would take over. Him and that gal. The gal did it for a little bit. She was just
they did a great job. They did a really great job. That was awesome, and I know they were hoping, I'm sure, on some of those dogs to. I think Trey wanted to throw his own hat in the ring for some of those dogs that were standing there, you know, and he had. When Jeffrey started wailing there when he was standing next to Jared Nichols, he had to stop and just look, and he goes, Jared, I love that dog. I thought that was pretty great. You know, it was like just to see everybody that was there. It was like, you know, it's kind of a crazy event to get everybody who's pretty much impossible to get in the same room. You know, that was one of the coolest things about it, was the networking of it, you know, getting to shake hands of people that you only see kind of on the internet nowadays, or just hear about, or whatever you talk to, you know, here and there about folks. And it's cool to get everybody in a room like that and have an event year after year that can keep growing, you know, because I'm sure that, you know, from the first one to now, there's probably been quite a bit of this year was my first year being there, but I'm sure there's been quite a bit of growth. And you know, the Tucson Ranch was an incredible area to do it. I mean, that's a good venue for that. It's an incredible venue. There's plenty of room. I honestly don't think there's anywhere better you could do it. The fact that it had campgrounds for everybody. I mean, you got stalls to put horses. You got shade for trailers if you got horses in there, whatever it may be, dogs in there. It was just an incredible spot to be able to do everything. And you know that there's houndsmen in the area when you got bedrolls on top of picnic tables sitting under every awning.
Oh, you saw Ed Barnes and Ed Barnes and Cody Jenkins. They just threw their bedrolls out on picnic tables behind we kind of commandeered that. I'm not even going to tell anybody where it's at because we're planning on doing it every year. But
it's a beautiful place.
We found a spot.
Yep. That's going to be, I think, the spot for a long time, because I couldn't imagine a spot better. I mean, it looks like it was built exactly for, what that event holds and what we did there. And I think everybody really enjoyed it. Everybody was able to, hang out in kind of a central location, and hopefully, and I think, as the word spreads, the camping side of it, the the night before the sale stuff, I think that's just going to keep getting bigger. The camaraderie is going to grow. We're going to have, building stories off of that. Guys might even plan to go hunt for a week or so beforehand if they can, and
Ross Blackwell was rolling in there, from a trip, he was hunting down in New Mexico, rolled up there, hunted on the way home.
Yes, sir.
Casey Stutzman came all the way down from Montana.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He came in from hunting, and then he and his wife drove down. They hauled the dog down for me. But I mean, who are some of the houndsmen you guys saw? I mean, some of the people that everybody wants to meet. You get Van Johnson,
the Whitakers.
It was cool to have the Whitakers there, especially selling their tack too. That was really cool. Thought that was pretty unique, and like everybody just sees that really cool rig that they got built up, that stock rack online, and that was cool to see in person. That's quite the setup right there.
Right.
Those boys know how to build some stuff, I'll tell you what.
Well, you had different houndsmen too. I mean, Ed Barnes runs hogs. So if you want to talk a little hog, I always tell Ed, I'm like, man, I'm going to show up with my bedroll at your place because I've never ran hogs with dogs. Then you had Seth Hall. He's one of them lazy guys who just have speed hounds, sight hounds,
Right.
You don't want to do none of the work. I'm not going to, like some other people we got in this room over there. I like to just run. There was like a variety of people. And that, what are you guys, your fourth year? It's kind of the fourth year.
This was the fifth.
Is this the fifth?
Fifth
I know. Yeah. I couldn't remember because they had a 2023 sign up. So you got to tell them boys, update.
Hey.
But hey,
Tram Wade, they have built a great. They built a foundation for an event that can be huge, and so
can only get better.
Yeah. And my vision is for the event is bring some of what I've seen work so well back east and bring it to the west. When you start talking about like the Winter Classic at Batesville, Mississippi, it used to be in Albany, Georgia. I mean, it's huge. It's just huge, and it's regional. But you think it's regional, but when you go to the Winter Classic, you'll run into guys that's in Batesville, Mississippi. You'll get guys from Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota coming to Batesville, Mississippi, just to get together and hang out and talk dogs, and it's just a different type of environment.
Yeah. I mean, you had quite a few states there. I mean, all coming to Colorado. I talked to guys from Montana. There was a guy from California.
That's awesome.
You got guys from New Mexico, Arizona, and Utah that were all there, plus people that probably came from back east that I didn't get a chance to talk to. So
there was a guy from Tennessee. The guy from Tennessee came up to my booth, and I met him. I'm my head's still swimming from the whole thing.
Yeah,
I should have went.
It was a good time. It really was.
I told you. I said, you don't got to drive 4 hours, jump in.
Well, I stayed home to try to keep my job and then lost the stinking job anyway.
Those things are they're overrated.
Well, I don't got one now, so I got to try to figure something else out.
There you go.
And Derek would have looked a lot prettier on the back of my bike with his long, flowing little hair in there.
Lord.
Yeah.
Man, I'm glad I didn't ride my bike. There was a guy there that rode a bike, man, but it rained Saturday. It started storming.
Just the environment that you put yourself in when you're there, whether you're a mule guy, a mule or horse guy, or a hound guy, the crowd is there to just like Brandon said, get people in a room that not very often in a year do you get that. Kind of like, when Benny does his get together, that's not very often you get people in one room or one area like that together just to talk and talk dogs, and just the camaraderie and the environment's just, you can't beat it. It's hard.
I wish we had more of that out here. Like what Chris was saying. I grew up going to the Oaks and riding the back of the truck to Albany and stuff, and as a kid, and that's just a thing that you can't get. Even something little, even a
We're
smaller
bringing it.
deal is like you go to Hannah's Creek for the youth deal, and it's like 150 people in this deal. And
what's your last name, Derek? If you're talking about Hannah's Creek and all that stuff, you and I have chewed some of the same dirt there.
Yeah, just put it in the system. They'll pop up.
My name's Derek Hall. My cousin Kevin Cable is my cousin. Carl Hall is my
word.
Granddad. Yeah.
James Tyree. James Tyree.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm getting the whole picture now.
Now you know why we keep trying to send him to Russia.
Yeah. Yep. And he has all them back east ideas. I promise you.
Well, I agree. Like, it'd be nice to have more of that, but what's hard is I definitely think that back east, you guys are definitely a little more congregated, a lot more close together, but you also get people that travel. Whereas us, when we hunt, a lot of us travel a lot just to hunt. And
you guys in the West are the travelingest people I've ever seen, man.
We travel alone.
Like, we got to drive 4 hours to Costco to.
Oh yeah.
I drive 2 hours to work every day, and I worked in Kalispell for a whole season there, and it was amazing to me. I mean, it's like nothing. It's like we got run down here this job. How far away is it? 2.5 hours.
Oh, I drove 4 hours Monday morning and 4 hours Friday night to get home, and then every day I drove 1.5 hours to work there and 1.5 hours back where I was staying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
it's all I can say is my mileage paid my taxes most of the years.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Because I had literally 50,000 miles a year.
Yep.
I was doing 1,000 miles a week easy just to work. So,
Brink, circling back around to what Dustin was talking about you had horse people, mule people, and hounds people. For us to survive into the future, it's important that we bridge those gaps in that community. There were people there that were buying mules and buying horses that have no idea what we do with these hounds. They have got no clue. There were some people there that were houndsmen that, like you take somebody like Casey Stutzman, his wife she does some trail guiding and stuff like that for an outfitter up there, but Casey hunts on foot. So when you can start bridging those gaps and you get this family, this husband and wife that are sitting there in the community, they're there to find a good deal on a mule, and they get to walk up and browse around and talk to the Whitakers and talk to Dustin and talk to Ed Barnes, and it puts a whole different face on this hound hunting thing that people only have had the opportunity to see on their limited algorithms on social media, and now all of a sudden it's reset their whole being. It's like those guys weren't like that at all. They weren't the people that everybody says that they are. And it's so important that we try to figure out every opportunity we can to bridge those gaps in ag community, ranching, houndsmen, trail riders. What Brett does with his 100 Years Too Late, that's an awesome venue because he's reaching people that just want to see cool places when he does his videos, and yet he's subliminally giving them the message that I've got hounds in the background. They don't even know they're getting it. But now when the ballot initiative comes up, it's like, wait a minute, I was at the Horses, Hounds, and Mules sale, and those guys weren't like that at all.
Yeah.
So. Exactly. That's why I think it is so valuable for us to hold events like this.
That's kind of what we did with our rendezvous last year. It was a very crudely thrown together thing, and we had like 70 people show up, and they were like from Tennessee, Louisiana, Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, Nevada. It was just like a plethora of people showed up, and we're like, wow. And it was the most horrible planned thing ever. We couldn't get in till noon or 11 o'clock on Saturday. We stayed, and the best time we had And this is why I like you guys doing your Friday thing, because if it's just an auction, that's what it's going to be. But being able to come in Friday and meet and greet some of these owners and these all the animals is great. Sunday morning at our rendezvous last year, we sat around the my horse trailer and just BS for everybody was trying to get out of there by what, 10, 11? I don't think we got out of there by 1 or 2. Just sat around and told BS stories and it was the best event you could have. We didn't even have, we were going to do a little dog auction, and that happened Saturday or Sunday morning around the trailer. I mean, so this year, hopefully a little bit more planned will be good.
The only reason all of us had to leave is because we ate those freaking tacos that had 30-year-old bear meat in them. And by the
we're getting over those tacos.
By the time,
you're talking about the Navajo fry bread stuff?
No. Chris's tacos at the
I got you.
At the Hound,
they whine, Chris.
I was just about 12 years old.
You need to travel with Ed Barnes.
Oh, dude, he brings out this bear.
Me and Ed would probably get along.
He blew the dust off the top of this can, and it clouded the whole camping spot.
It was a dusty road.
And I tell you what, I mean, everybody that ate them, they were good. I'm not going to say they didn't taste good, but about 2 hours later, you could see everybody start rubbing their bellies, and that's when everybody decided they had to leave.
How many porta johns
Have you ever?
We didn't even have none.
Have you ever heard the story about Ed Barnes' 2-week stew?
Ooh, no.
Yeah, so he would make stew and put it on the wood stove and cook it on the wood stove, and he claims that for 2 weeks they would just add water, maybe add some more vegetables, maybe add some more meat and stuff like that. Yeah, so he kind of lives by that. He had this Ziploc bag of steak. I overnighted at his place before we headed to Colorado, and he cooked steaks. It was excellent, but he threw the leftovers in a Ziploc bag and had it sitting on the console of the truck, and he's snacking on it. And we get out there, and he's like, does anybody want any more steak before I throw this away? Cody and I were like, no, we're good, man. We are good. We're good.
My kind of guy right there. I tell you, we were camping, and I just make a big pot of beans. Same thing. You leave it kind of by the fire and add water or whatever else. And they were there for probably the 3rd day. And a guy he was lost. He was walking up the road. And he says, man, he was actually walking like to the west. Says, man, I don't know. I think I'm going the right way. I've been out all day and I've been on this road. I just got on this road and I said, well, what's your camp? I said, man, your camp's that way. And I said, you want something to eat? And he says, yeah, I'm pretty hungry. And I took those, if you know beans, they kind of go gray after a couple of days. And I took that lid off that pot and I said, yeah, we got some beans here. And the guy said, nah. I'm not really that hungry. He said, no. And he left. I said, well, damn, you're not starving then.
Yeah.
They were mad because I had some 2012 elk meat in the jar. It was canned. It was good. So they were worried. Yeah, not mad. They were worried. But I didn't tell them until after they ate it.
I think next year would be really cool if like Friday night we do some, I think this year was probably a fire ban or something going on, but it'd be kind of cool to do like a, campfire deal and have everybody sit around and actually tell campfire stories, just sit around and tell the craziest thing they've ever seen or craziest thing they've ever done or best hound story they got. Cause I think everybody's got at least one people would like to hear. And, it'd be kind of cool to be able to sit around and do that kind of stuff with the folks that hunt off of, horse and mule in the mountains. I think get just a different experience because I've experienced it all, and I'm sure we all have, in different locations, hunting out of the truck and hunting snow. But you get a little bit of a different story and a different adventure when you're out there poking around in the middle of nowhere with the dogs on a hound or a good mule or a good horse, and seeing the different type of country that you actually can cover, and going into wilderness areas where people can't drive through and disturb it as much and stuff. So I think that'd be kind of some kind of cool aspect to add.
Did you stay there on the grounds, Brandon?
No, we went and stayed at a hotel that night, and I kind of wish we would have. That's kind of the plan for next year. It was just, I think it was more of the unknown with the first one being there, but that's definitely the plan for next year.
So, excuse me. I don't think Wade made it to bed until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
It sounds like Brandon.
Because after the sale, he was out. They were throwing dice, and we played. Ed Barnes always brings dominoes, and you just kind of cruise camp after hours, But when Mike and Bobby Nell took that break, then everybody kind of vacated. They just the crowd evaporated, but the party went on.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd highly recommend, and I would recommend anybody that's thinking about coming, to come on out and just camp.
You got to stay on the grounds.
Yeah, definitely. Next year that'll 100% be what we're doing. We're definitely out there.
Me too.
It's great time of year to even just chuck a bedroll on the flatbed, and you don't got to set up a whole camp or nothing like that. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even with the fire ban, you could throw a propane pit right there inside.
There wasn't any fire ban. As a matter of fact, we just didn't have any firewood, and it wasn't planned out that far. But
but next year,
even if somebody had a solo stove, if somebody just had a solo stove that, something, it'd be cool. It would be cool. I'm making notes, Brandon. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put that in my notes right now.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that'd be
have some sort of fire pit somewhere.
Yeah,
there's a fire pit behind the main barn.
Everybody just gets a little more relaxed and comfortable around there, and stories just start flowing. Everybody has a couple of little get you loose drinks, and the stories start flying, and everybody, you might have to bring your waiters for some of them, but
one of the main reasons we didn't say anything about that fire pit outside is because our camp was right there, and we didn't want to be kept up all night by
yeah, you're probably smart.
Yeah.
There was a few of them. There was a few of them around.
When Brett and I were down there with John Klump, one of those trips, and you could see it in the video, a whole bunch of the family, cousins and brothers-in-laws and sisters-in-laws, and everybody showed up with all their little kids around our campfire, and we just sat back and enjoyed watching the interaction with all of that whole bunch.
For sure.
So yeah, the campfire draws a different mentality.
Yep,
it does.
It sure does.
Well, that's when you go around, you got loosening up, and people say, "Who are you?"
Yep.
Not who's that guy. I think you start loosening up a little bit. You're like, "Hey, where are you from?" And that's where it just opens up everything.
Well, as much as all of us, we don't, want to necessarily always be hunting the same mountain next to everybody and whatnot, but I think it's, is the trade we have, I guess, if you'd call it, would be, a very solo adventure in a lot of ways, but to have community, to have people around you that, hey, I like to hunt around. I like to go to, maybe New Mexico or Utah or Colorado and go hunt. And maybe something might happen to me while I'm out there. I might break down, or I might have a dog get lost or something like that. And my God, to have people like that you can call, and you don't got to explain everything what's going on. You just call them and you say, "Hey, buddy, I got a problem," and they just show up and help you. And that's, we talked. Dustin and I drove up there together, and so we got to talk a lot, and just about the hound community. And the biggest thing is if you support the hound community supports you. If you call upon the hound community for help, we're all going to have your back. And it's a lot easier to even, to know that you have that coverage, essentially, when you can go and shake that person's hand, sit there, maybe have a beer with them, sit with them during dinner and have some conversation, meet their wife, meet their kids, meet the people that are involved in their lives. And, it's what we do really is like what Dustin's business is built on. It's a family, we're a giant family. We're just kind of a dysfunctional family that, we're not all the same. We're all quite different. And we all might've started from completely different walks of life and ended up in the same one. But at the end of the day, we all enjoy the same thing. The same thing brings us all happiness. You know, they're seeing a lion in a tree, seeing a bear in a tree, seeing a good dog work, seeing a good mule go or horse go through rough country and take you back all the way out and get you home. That's what we're there for. You know, and having that ability to gather that many people is an amazing thing. So like, I'm going to be talking about it to everybody. My thing is get everybody we possibly can in our community there and make it something like a, you know, like an Auto Mokes where we, you know, not only are we representing our, being there to gain relationships and have camaraderie, but we're representing the hound community. You know, we can go into a place like that and bring commerce and bring good, well brought up and good folks with good morals, and people can see, wow, man, I had a total wrong impression of these people, you know.
That's right.
Because Durango's the opposite of what we believe, I think, is, you know, has a political stance and, you know, a mindset. But, you know, they might see 50 of us out one night, you know, just, you know, enjoying the town and spending commerce. And then they realize, wow, these guys aren't so bad.
There were only 2 counties that were lost on Prop 127 in Colorado, and La Plata County was one of them, where Durango is located. Mm-hmm. So, you know, why do we want to go there? Heck yeah, we're going there. We're going to show you that this is who we are and what we do. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you talked about, you know, us being so different and us being so isolationist, but the Rocky Mountain Fur Trade, the biggest event of the year was the annual rendezvous. Okay. And it wasn't just to go and get supplies and it was part of it, but it was to go and interact with people. And you think those guys didn't get in, you know, confrontations and stuff about trapping this drainage, and I've been trapping this drainage, and you need to stay over there. But during the rendezvous, they all came together and they had a good time. And sometimes there were knife fights, but you know, everybody knew the value of the rendezvous and getting together. And I think it's a mistake for us to, you know, let personal feelings get in the way of coming together and representing who we are and what we do.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's bigger. It's bigger than any of us. It's bigger than any of us can imagine, you know, because the culture and what has been built up over the last, you know, however many 100 years of guys doing this. And now we're the stage that we're at now. And it's probably at its, I wouldn't say technically its best, but it's definitely pretty dang good, you know, as far as accessibility, you know, access of land, considering how many people are in this country, the ability to get around in vehicles, you know, the road systems and all these things, way easier to hunt than it was 100 years ago.
Technology.
Technology, of course, you know, having the GPS systems and things like that. But, and now we're fighting for it, you know, now
my thing is, Brandon, I mean, at my age, I'm 56. I'm not nearly as ancient as Benny, but
nobody is.
But hey, I've got friends that are older.
It's easy for me at my age to sit here and think about, man, those were the good old days. You know, I remember those days. Those were great days, but I'm too daggone stubborn. Mm-hmm. It's like our best days can be ahead of us.
Absolutely.
But in order for that to happen, then we've all got to come off the mountain. We've got to be involved. We've got to carve out a little bit of time to help build this community of houndsmen and tell our story. Because if we let other people tell our story, it's the old adage, if you're not at the table, then you're on the menu. So you've got to be able to tell your story.
That's a big statement. That's true. And that's where, you know, Chris's big mission that we've been trying to do with AWDA is get ahead of the ball, start playing some offense. We've been playing a lot of defense for these years, you know, and if we can start playing some more offense, and that requires camaraderie. These
community
events, what's going to provide us? Yes, absolutely. These events like Horses, Hounds, and Mules are where they're going to provide us the ability to make those phone calls and call the people that we need to call when we need them and rally the troops and say, hey guys, we're going to be right here on this date and we're going to be making a statement and, you know, XYZ, and everybody should show up. You know, even if it means a day of travel, to save something that you have invested your entire life into, golly, protecting your investment, having a little insurance is a great way to, look at it. Like, you don't go and buy a $50,000 truck and don't put insurance on it. You know what I mean? You don't go, even dogs nowadays we can buy insurance on, but we got to put some insurance into the investment of a hound, investment of all the things that I guarantee all of us could absolutely, even guys that are like not fully set up, could easily put a $50,000 note that they've spent on all their dogs and stuff like that. And if you're going to tell me right now that you wouldn't insure that $50,000 note if you could, you can. Just show up. Showing up is the easiest thing to do.
Skip one day of hunting.
One day, even if it's 5 days, you know what I mean? And I get it. We all want to be the Ben Lillies that are driving hard and putting our nose to the grindstone and at it every day, and we all want to be the person that everybody goes, yeah, 335 days this year, and it's like, okay, that's great and all, but at the moment that it gets taken away and it's illegal to do this, you're going to be the first person that's in jail. And I don't want to see that. I don't want to see my buddies in jail for doing something we love. I don't want to see people getting their rights taken away for something that we love. Put a little insurance into it.
90% of that's all talk, because those guys that say I'm going to be an outlaw, they're not going to be an outlaw.
Right.
They can't afford to be an outlaw.
Right.
Costs just as much to go to jail and get bailed out.
They don't know the first thing about keeping their mouth shut.
They post it on the internet.
Right.
Bunch of morons.
I think the big thing.
Ask our guest. Just ask our guest.
Yeah, he's game warden.
I'm not gonna confirm or deny that I made cases off a Facebook post.
Yeah. Well, telling on yourself the easiest way to get caught.
All these guys. Yeah, I'll just be an outlaw. The hell you will. You'll be caught.
The thing that people think, well, when it becomes illegal, I'll become an outlaw. Well, the problem is technology is so advanced these days. I mean, we're moving into a world where your credit score could very well be attached to whether or not you hunt or not. We really are. We're moving into that age where the green movement and all that garbage, green credit scores and all that stuff, convictions. If we keep rolling the way we're going, you're not going to, like Chris said, we're not going to be able, person's not going to be able to afford to be an outlaw. You get caught one time and, you might pay a small fine. You get hit the second time and then you get a mark on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got a mark on you.
We're out of the world of being an outlaw is a thing it's a thing of the past. Like you said, technology tracks you everywhere you go. Your vehicle tells you, it doesn't take much they can plug a device into your deal and find out where you went if you got a nav system.
Benny was holding up this right here.
You don't leave that at home, you're toast already.
Hey, if you don't have a 1970s or 80s vehicle, you're going to get caught. And if you don't leave your phone at home, you're going to get caught. And if you drive through the city with your 1970s or 80s vehicle, they're going to get your plate.
Yep.
Like, to be an outlaw these days, you have to be 100% technology genius and know when,
it's a lot
where, and
lot
when.
easier.
You're going to have to walk in, use your bow, and carry that sucker
That's
out.
the only way. You're gonna have to bend
It's too hard these days.
A whole lot easier just to show up 5 days out of the year and let your voice be heard.
Amen, Derek.
And to be not an antagonistic prick all over social media, alienating everybody who ain't us. We can't close the shutters and be like, oh, you're a bunny hugging Sally. We can't live like that.
My favorite is it's
gonna
the First
take
Amendment.
Yeah. No, that's stupid. You go First Amendment till they take it away. That's dumb. It's going to take a united coalition of all outdoorsmen. I want the butterfly watchers, the birders, the hikers, all of us on the same side. Or we just about lost public land not long ago, guys. And it takes everybody raising Cain about that. We can't sit over here and call the lady in a Subaru this, that, and the other, and chuck rocks or whatever because they get upset because we killed a raccoon or whatever.
My wife drove with Subaru and she's not a lesbian. I can confirm.
There we go. We got to be all together on this. We got to be more approachable. We got to control the narrative, and we have to put a better foot forward than what we've been doing in previous years.
Well, you guys seen
I have driven a Subaru, and that was just because I was thinking about being a lesbian.
Benny, I tell everybody I'm a lesbian trapped in a man's body.
Hey, today you can claim it, so you're all right.
Yep.
You guys see that the solution? You guys did see that solution to how we handle the wolf problem in California? Did you guys watch that?
Oh boy!
Or Colorado? You're thinking Colorado?
Oh wait,
yeah.
Oh yeah, Colorado. Was that Colorado? You're right.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Eminent domain.
We're gonna start season ranches for eminent domain so a wolf can live free and wild.
Voluntary at first.
Oh yeah,
I got it. I have the video right here.
Yeah, we'll give you some money for it if you want to walk away voluntarily. But if not,
but other than that, this country was built on eminent domain, is what he said.
Yeah.
I hate eminent domain anyways, which Chris knows. He's in the country. That Honda plant in Greensburg, the eminent domain, all them farms. That's not for community betterment. That's for private interest.
Mm-hmm. Was that purchased? That wasn't purchased on eminent domain.
Some of it was. They wouldn't come off of 2 parcels, and they forced them out. I think is what I heard. I don't know. I don't know for a fact. I was young.
Which one was that one?
I think Honda made a lot of people rich, is what I think happened.
Yeah, I thought there was like the last 2 pieces they wanted for the where the rail yard was coming in. They
probably did put eminent domain on the railroad.
Yeah. And that's, and I don't like that. I sure don't like it for snatching up ranches so the wolves can be left alone. That's ridiculous. Manage the wildlife.
That's ridiculous.
It's an introduced species.
Listening to that guy talk is like watching AI these days. You're like, that can't be real. Is that real? Mm-hmm. I don't even know if that's real. Yeah. It was just to listen to him. 2 minutes of just, what the F was that? Like,
it's kind of funny saying that, humans don't belong in the wildest places in the world. Well, the places of anywhere were once the wildest places in the world. They've been inhabited by us one way or another.
Look at Africa. Still is.
I'll ever have to find them.
Yep.
Upstate, New York City was a wild joker back about 280 years ago, 300 years ago.
Yep. Yeah, the whole country was the Wild West at one point, but it's just but that's the whole point of it, is just the small investment of your time. Truthfully, a small investment of your time creates some insurance for something you've got way more invested into. We've all got, just the time alone. Time's an irreplaceable thing. You can replace money, you can replace vehicles, whatever. The irreplaceable part of time, it'd be disappointing to let down the folks that have paved the way, that have worked so hard to make the dogs that we need today in order to, to run the type of country that we do, to let this die out.
Yeah.
It'd be a shame to these people that we talk about like heroes, like legends, that work their butts off to create a hobby now that we all love, that was once not a hobby. It was all for purpose in the beginning, but
way of life.
Yeah. And it became something. And now it's essentially, it is a way of life for lots of us. It really, truly is. You don't get a living critter. I don't know many people. I wouldn't say none, but I don't know many people who even just get, they don't get a horse and just let it sit out there in their field most of the time for no reason. They like doing something with it. Even if with your dogs, you go, some guys, they don't have the ability to hunt, 335 days a year, but they might get to hunt 60 days a year, or even if they can only hunt 30 days a year, but it makes them truly happy. And they love being part of the community that this is. I think that's a lot of it too, is, as much as us are kind of individualists in certain ways, we all enjoy the fact that we can get on. Like, there wouldn't be these, houndsman groups on the internet if we all hated each other. We all really want to know what's going on. We all want to be connected. We're just trying to act like we don't really like each other or something.
And it don't matter if it's 300 days or if you only go out 6 days a year. It's the fact that you're able to go out 6 days a year.
Right. And if those 6 days are all you can get and you have to put 5 in to save those 6 days that make you real happy, then do it, Or
when you think about it, in 1873, Bird Grinnell and Theodore Roosevelt got together and formed the Boone and Crockett Club. At that point, they recognized that the wildlife was in trouble, and our wildlife management plan has progressed since then. Everything with the Pittman-Robertson Act to the Dingell-Johnson Act. So when you think back on that, the way I always look at it is I have inherited this legacy of 150 years of building back this wildlife. And now for me to sit back and think, well, Dustin will show up at the next commission meeting. Chris will show up at the next commission meeting.
Why do I gotta go?
Derek will show up. It's like me inheriting the family farm and expecting my neighbor to take care of it for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
That doesn't make sense. We've got to have the awareness that if we don't individually take ownership of what we've got and stand up for it and fight for it and do our part, that it will go away. And it's no different than just pissing away your inheritance and your family farm. This was a legacy that was built over the last 130 some years, and we have got an obligation to step up and do our part to preserve it, whether it's coming to the Rendezvous or Horses, Hounds, and Mules, or loading up your truck and coming back east to Autumn Oaks. Do your part, man. Just step up and do. I always look at it like if you read the Bible, in the book of Jeremiah, Jeremiah was rebuilding the city of Jerusalem. And the thing he told people was go out and build the portion of the wall that's in front of your house. If I build the portion that's in front of my house and my neighbor does that and his neighbor does that, before you know it, the wall's back up. Mm-hmm. We're good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And take care of your part of the wall.
And every time that we're in the public, like you guys get it. Anybody who's worn a uniform gets it. Every time you're out there, you may be the only one of us that they see. So we can't be fighting people at the Shell gas station or, throwing coffee cups at a lady on the side of the road outside of West Virginia.
That was one time, guys. One time.
I did that.
Blue hair.
Yeah. But I did that. I was 17 years old, and I honked a coffee at a lady honking the horn at us because we were trying to catch dogs before they cross the main road. We can't do that stuff. We got to do that.
Can I tell you my embarrassing moment?
Well, yeah.
This was after. I mean, I'm not. How old were you, Derek?
I was 17, maybe
17.
Was it you in the car and you threw a coffee back at him, or what?
We were catching dogs about to get on the highway because it's kind of a populated area we were running in right there, and we had traffic stopped, and this lady, like in a hurry, mad, beeped her horn, whatever, and I honked a coffee off the tailgate at her damn car. But we can't do stuff like that.
So we were bear hunting in West Virginia. And we're right there, got on the radio, dogs are crossing the road. Chris, your dogs are headed to the road, and I'm just flying down this road. I just go screaming past. I knew better. And got out on the road. I'm catching dogs, and this lady pulls up in a minivan, and she's like, hey, can I talk to you a minute? And it was a heat of the moment thing. I was trying to keep dogs from getting hit and everything else. I said, ma'am, just wait a minute. Let me catch these dogs. She was the lady that owned the property right across the road where I had driven past her house way too fast and got out there on the road. And she was trying to tell me, hey, I don't mind you guys running, but you don't need to be driving like that. And this was not that long ago. So it's easy to do when you get caught up in the moment. But yeah, that's my shining moment of not practicing what I preach.
Yep. Well, I think it all happens in the heat of the moment.
Well, I also think, too, is we're so defensive now, right? Because when I have someone pull up to my dogs at a gas station, you have that fight or flight, right? So you're kind of like, oh, man. Most of the time, they come up and they're like, can I pet your dog? So you have to kind of wait to see what they're doing. But I've also been at Whataburger and went in to grab me something, came back out and the cops were at my truck. We got Whataburgers.
Oh, it's Whataburger. I thought maybe you had a new thing in.
No, what a
burger. What do they got there, Dustin, on the thing? Vataburger?
Vataburger.
In New Mexico, they had a Vataburger.
Regional food. Chris, you like Skyline?
Oh yeah.
I miss it so bad. That's the best thing ever.
Well, in Arizona, it's Aliberto's, Filiberto's. There's even a Roberto's, and I one was like a Steveberto somewhere. I seen a little.
Did you say Roberto and Steeleberto?
Yeah,
Steve Alberto, like Aliberto, Filiberto's.
Steve Alberto. I thought you said
Filiberto's.
Roberto's.
No, Filiberto's is like a Mexican restaurant in Arizona.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden they get kind of busted because they had 15 restaurants and one legal employee. So then a lot of Alibertos showed up and a lot of different Bertos.
Steeleberto and Roberto, that's over in the hood.
That's in the hood. That's Guadalupe next to it in Phoenix.
67th and Bethany home over there.
Yeah. Oh boy.
But yeah, I think we have such that so tense because we're hound hunters and it's so bad now. I mean, even the antis right now are all over our Game and Fish because they supported HB 2552, where they said you're not going to take dogs from Arizona. That was Lupe Diaz put that bill towards, and this was probably one of my great moments in my life where I talked to him after the hearing, and he's telling a story about, I was just. I have friends that run dogs, and he lives down south. He says, I read this article with the guy who took a reporter out and to show him dogs. And that made me realize I got to do something. And the other guy that was with me, he's kind of big in the policy. He goes, oh, that was Chris. I thought, damn, man, just me taking my time, taking a fairly liberal reporter out, investigative journalist, took him out, showed him how we ran dogs, how the GPS worked, how they loaded up, how they listened. Just me taking a few hours out of my day made somebody or gave somebody that little push to put a bill out. And I thought, damn, man, just me taking that little bit of time. And I'm just one person. Could you imagine if everybody put in that much effort?
I get about an email every 3 days or 4 days through I use kind of like a marketing system for my outfitting business, and I'll get an email every 3 or 4 days that says, something in the scope of, I'm not really interested in a hunt, but, how dare you trophy hunt and this and that and how could you kill something without eating the meat and this and that. And I reply to every single one of them, and I reply in the most calm manner. I just said, hey, hello, sir or ma'am. Thank you for the email. I'd just like to inform you that trophy hunting is actually completely illegal in the state of Arizona. You're required to harvest the meat of a bear or mountain lion, and it's actually quite delicious. If you'd like, I can send you some recipes.
And Chris has some back stock of the bear if you want some.
Yeah, and then Jules and I have talked about doing like an anti-hunter discount and, try to convert some of these folks that are doing that. And it's like, maybe we just don't know, and a lot of people, it's the lack of knowledge. We talk about people and places and things doing things that we don't have a clue about just because we think it's silly or it looks funny to us. But, I bet you we sit down for 10 minutes, 20 minutes with any of these type of people, and you might find one common ground where you might be able to touch it, and then you can go from there. But it's just, like I said, investing a little bit of time, like Derek's saying, talk to people. Don't be so unfriendly to folks, I think, like you're saying, even at the gas station, and people are like, whoa, they'll be eyeing, I'll be pumping up, and the guys will be, somebody in the car over, they'll just be eyeing the dogs. And I'll be like, you want to pet them? You can, they're friendly, and they just walk up and they lick in their hands like, oh my gosh, like, what do they do? And I tell them, and they're like, really? Oh my God, that's incredible. And it's there's millions of people in this country, man. We got a lot of people to touch to get informed at least a little bit, get them on our side, and doing anything of not contributing. One thing that I would kind of like to throw out there in a bit of a challenge is, there's some big names in this world as far as hound hunting goes. There's some of those big names that aren't contributing their time, their effort, their money, one of the three. I understand that sometimes people don't have time, but they got money. If you don't have money, you got time. And everybody has a little bit of effort in them. I'd like to just kind of throw it a challenge. If anybody's listening that's connected to some of these bigger names in the industry that aren't really contributing and putting their time, effort, or money into this, tell them to step up. There's a lot of people that are stepping up that don't have much. There's people that are been doing this for a lot less time that are stepping up. The guys that have been doing this for the last 40 or 50 years and, they're generational or whatever, it's not always going to be around just because your dad did it or your grandpa did it. Step up, show up to these events, show your face because it means something. If I saw some of these bigger names walk in there, it means something to me, showing, wow, these guys care about us. They feel like they're on the same playing level as all of us because we essentially are. I mean, really, we're all just running dogs. Nobody's better in the world because of it. In the sense of, in the sense of a scale, you're measured by your effort and your morals in this world. And to me, I would just like to see more of the people show up that have paved a way essentially for us, but they got to keep it rolling too. So.
Yes, sir. And I'd like to see people with a louder voice show up to more events, because you guys got bigger voices than I do. I can scream as loud as I want, and there's 7,000 people on TikTok that'll see it, and that's about it.
Well, hell, half of us can't understand it.
I got to put subtitles on.
There it is.
Well, a lot of people don't know.
Not all the world speaks cornbread.
I didn't know about a lot of events that happen. Like in Phoenix, they have camo at the Capitol. I never heard of that. I went down there this year and checked it out, and they're feeding people turkey meatballs and lion tacos. These representatives, these people that handle this business, should they be handling wildlife in the Capitol? Probably not, but it's still there and they're handling it. And you sit out there in front of the Capitol around lunchtime. They all come out for their little breaks and they talk to everybody. I've seen people talk to everybody, and people that are pretty not on our side eating lion tacos, eating duck stuffed mushrooms. Like, it was a great, and I didn't know nothing about that. And I think 90% of the hunt community, it's all I did was hunt. I think to educate is what we need to do. That's what we have to do, is educate. And I understand there's people who can't go, but if you can't go, you have to pay for it. If you can't give up a day, throw some money to your whoever's handling it, your local groups, your Conserve and Protect Arizona, and your Arizona Citizens for Wildlife Management. There's a ton of groups out there, and I'm trying to work with them because I'm just dogs, and those guys handle everything. And you have to get involved. Dan Gates called us all idiots, said we were the problem. And people got mad about that, but I had no clue about a sportsman caucus. I thought when he said sportsman's caucus, I'm like, I don't know what movies you watch, but I ain't watching that one. I didn't know nothing about it. And when he said, you're the problem, I understood we are the problem because what we want to do. And I just made a video before I got on telling people the fall's coming. The fall is.
They get locked up
because they know.
Right. There it is.
Nope.
We're going to be hunting. We're going to be out there. We're not going to show up. You know what I mean?
I spent 30 years working for the state and going to wildlife commission meetings. We'd get assigned there, but I was also there with the Hoosier Tree Dog Alliance. But for a lot of years, I was there, and we were absolutely underrepresented on every front. You know, so when people say, "Oh, the deer hunters get everything they want, the elk hunters get everything they want," it's because they show up. It's
Yep.
because they show up, and not just show up the day of the meeting, but you take my little part of the world. You know, Gene Hopkins was working every day. He was working. Um, he's building relationships. He had the contacts in his phone of representatives and the chairman of the Natural Resources Commission, and just we've got to have that realization that it's time for us to do that. I didn't see that comment that was put up there, Chris. It was put up to me, but I didn't see it.
Chris Powell, I'm willing to bet that a lot of these younger folks that are just carrying on the tradition, their grandpas and their fathers both stood up for the right to run dogs. One
Right.
way or another, they absolutely did.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that on my
Brandon got
end?
some static. No, it's Brandon.
Okay. Yeah. So, you know, that's kind of why we started the Houndsman XP podcast, is because I saw we were in an age there where they were tearing down history, and there were plenty of people that could say stuff. You know, well, why do you run dogs? You know, simple question. Why do you run dogs? My granddaddy did it, and my daddy did it, and I do it. That's great, man. But the general public right now doesn't care about history. They're tearing down monuments and statues, or they were renaming military bases and trying to erase history. So the history is not enough. We've got to be able to educate ourselves and be able to talk in a way that's educated. We got to talk about, you know, the values that we add back to wildlife management. We got to have the awareness to know that when Corey Huntsman from the Utah Houndsman Association is out there doing mountain lion studies, those biologists are carrying that back and using that information to improve mule deer habitat and mule deer populations and pronghorn populations, and all the wildlife that my aunt loves to go look at in a national park is there because there's a hunter that's willing to spend their time and their money to go out and improve wildlife. We've been the ones that have carried the weight on this thing, and we have lost that narrative. We've had that narrative hijacked away from us. Even terms that are used, it's like the news will say conservation organizations oppose this, and then you see what organizations they are, and it's Center for Biological Diversity, Global Wildlife Initiative. Those are not conservation organizations.
Those are money laundering organizations.
That's
Absolutely.
exactly right.
But I have a plan. That's all I'm going to say. I have a plan for those people. So kind of what I said today in my video, like, just because, I've gotten some texts from some people saying, I don't feel like anything's happening. Well, you're not going to know if something's happening. Just like we don't know when the CBD decides they want to put out a petition. They wait to the last minute. But when you have people inside the organization, we're going to know. So you got to play their game, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's Brandon.
You might have to restart and come back in. We have to play their game. We have to play the offense. We're so busy playing defense. And if we play the offense, if we start doing our own petitions and really hammer it, they have to play defense. And they know they only have to win once. They do.
You know what my idea is, Chris? When's an organization going to step up and file suit against the Colorado Parks and Wildlife and say that your misappropriation of funds? Hunters and fishermen have propped up this organization and supported this wildlife for the last 130 years. And now you are spending that money on things that don't coincide with the North American model for wildlife conservation. I'm ready to start fighting them with fire. Anytime you pass something, you take the grizzly bear hunt in Wyoming in 2018, there was an injunction filed that shut that dude down. So when are we going to start filing injunctions against these groups and against these? Hunters have always tried to play this game like, well, we want to get along with the fish and wildlife agencies. We want to look like they're our friends and we've got allies. And that's true. There's value in that. But at some point, we've got to say, you're not doing your job and we're going to file suit against you for not doing your job. We've put the money in. We've ponied up. This is our wildlife. And we're more than happy to share it with anybody that wants to enjoy it, however they want to enjoy it. But you're not going to take our rights away from us. And if you do, we're going to sue your ass.
Absolutely.
You know how that has to happen is when every sportsman, Dan Gates said this, if every sportsman gave us $10, we'd have $10 million. So when every sportsman antes up, because I'm not the guy that can go in front of to a representative and talk. I don't feel I'm that guy. I can talk normal. You have to have. I went to that NTA, the National Trapper Association, little shindig over here in Prescott, and one of they had a lobbyist there, and I mean he said it's all about looks. You have to wear your tie and suit. You have to speak the lingo. You walk in a nice button-up shirt, you're like, what are you here for? When they walk up in his, and they've known him, he's done it for 50 years. He goes, when I walk up in my suit, they say the room's over there. Like. You have to have that one person everybody is afraid of. You have to almost have, it's almost like we have to have a merger with some of these big people, these big organizations, and create a sort of a national or a semi-regional organization that when, let's just say Dan Gates run it, because I know his name. And
I think Dan Gates should run it, but keep going.
and if he says, if we have something in Arizona, and all of a sudden Dan Gates shows up in Arizona and the CBD says they sent Dan Gates, CBD is going to be like, damn it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Somebody that kind of strikes the fear of God in the sound.
Yes, in Nevada, just like when we know Hesperus shows up, we know they have money. CBD has money. PETA has money. Wildlife for All has money. We're just little organizations. We do need, people understand is, I've had a guy tell me, well, it's legislature. It don't cost nothing to do that. I'm like, dude, it cost them what, $300,000, Chris, to change the title of 127 before it could be put in. $300,000 to change a title. I don't have $300,000. I have to IOU Dustin when I do a Garmin giveaway.
Very few people realize that. You know how much money Safari Club International put up to defeat 127?
I could only imagine. $1 million?
They put up $270,000 out of,
that's what they put up.
Yeah, the whole they opened up their whole legal team to write briefs and stuff for CRWM, which came to about $70,000, and then state chapters across the country generated around $200,000.
What was the total cost of fighting?
I don't know. That's a
I heard it was up there.
Yeah. I mean, it was
just right there. 270 to do this, 300 to do that. It was over $1 million. I think it was 2 million, or he said they needed 5 million. I don't know what they got. I don't know what they spent, but it's not cheap. It's not cheap at all.
Houndsman directly put up $116,000. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We did 23,000 in 2 weeks. I was kind of proud of that.
And it is tough. It is tougher for us to contribute as much money than the elk hunters and the deer hunters and the antelope hunters and the sheep hunters, because those guys, I mean, the sheep hunters, they're in a different class, I think.
Yeah, but let's stop you right at the sheep hunters, Brandon.
They don't have a food bill and a dog bill every month and a fuel bill that adds up. We have monthly expenses that those guys, that's why they can have their expos in February and March. Okay,
the sheep hunters.
The latest January, February is kind of like expo time for all that stuff, because those guys are off the mountain at that point. Their seasons are done. Our season doesn't really quite end ever.
But those sheep organizations love to take that money. But when you ask those sheep I'm not going to say who.
Those guys give a lot back. Like I will say, maybe not directly to houndsmen in the sense of, hey, we're going to write you a big fat check. but they're fighting. They're the ones that need us the most. What kills sheep? Other than
That's my point.
Colorado
right there.
sheep hunters stepped up big in Colorado for Prop
Right.
27.
Absolutely.
They really did.
Guys, they have the money to do it, and they can step up and they can throw it into when it matters. You know, they might not be doing monthly contributions to every houndsman organization,
Right.
but when the fight's there, they've got the backing and they're willing to be there, you know. And like, even I was, you know, when I was at the WSF banquet last year, I got to sit with Gray and his wife at the table and talk to him about the issues that, you know, were probably when we were starting. That was right when the issue was surfacing of the deal with the CDC coming after us, or CBD, whatever it is, coming after us. Sorry. And, you know, he was really interested to hear about what we had going on and how they can contribute, you know, and if it came to a fight where we needed more, which thankfully we didn't, they were ready to help us. Absolutely. You know, and it's a matter of also networking within those industries too, you know, and networking within the elk and deer industry and letting them know, you know, hey, we're here to protect what you've got going on. You know, what's to say that some of these guys, you know, they got outfits that are, you know, they're look at what the sheep tag sold for last year, $1.2 million. You think somebody doesn't know something? If that sheep dies from a lion kill before that,
that's what he said.
Right. If that sheep dies before that lion goes, you know, or before that lion comes, you know, or sorry, before that hunter gets to go out there and kill it and the lion gets it, it's going to be a bad deal. And nobody wants that. You know, I guarantee that hunter would pay a lion hunter to go out there all year and freaking surface that area and watch that sheep and make sure no lion ever kills it.
You know, I go to the Safari Club international convention every year. I've been the last 2 or 3 years, but it's a habit of mine to go. And there are 3. The first year I was there were 3 booths that were dedicated to hunting with hounds. You had Ross Blackwelder, Wade Hollerman, and Steve Biggerstaff set up there. Mm-hmm. So last year there was another outfit from Northern Nevada, and then of course another Utah guy he's doing multi hunts, but he offers hound hunts. And the only reason I bring that up is because at some point, you know, I've talked to people and it's like, oh, that just doesn't sound like my kind of crowd. It's like, man, you have got to get past that. You've got to go in there, walk in confidently, and say, I'm here to represent houndsmen. Absolutely. Because if we don't do it, out of 1,500 booths, there's 3 booths there that houndsmen are represented. And kudos to those guys that are willing to step up, spend the money, and represent us for all those people. Because you need that accountant from New Jersey that wants to hunt with hounds. We need that, you know, we need everybody we can get.
Well, and even, you know, just like, so, you know, Robbie Kroger and those folks over at Blood Origins did a beautiful job doing Lionheart. And I showed up, my wife and I went to the premiere in Denver, and I saw the Whitaker brothers there, and I think that I don't really know the other gentleman's name in the film that was there. I think he's from Idaho or Nevada, somewhere in that country. He showed up, and myself, and that was the only other houndsman I saw there at that opening. That was advertised well enough that there should have been a better showing at something
of houndsmen.
Yes,
but really, this is what I think. That wasn't really made for houndsmen, though.
Sure, but who? You know what? There was a bunch of random people from Denver and there was a big lobby where everybody was standing there and asking questions about hound hunting. They were talking about these things.
So you need a panel. You're talking right at a panel,
essentially. But it's a matter of showing up. Like, you can sit there, like, you're going to make an excuse for that. Essentially, like, yeah, it wasn't for hound hunters. It was about hound hunting. If a movie comes out in a big theater, you know, that's nationwide, and it's about hound hunting, are you going to go? Probably, because you're a houndsman and that's what you're about. It's about showing, like we're talking about showing up here. You know, we didn't have to go. We weren't required to be there. It was a state away. We had to fly in to be there. We wanted to be there to represent houndsmen, to talk to anybody. I probably talked to 40 people that night that have never run hounds, honest to God, at least.
But you still have to be kind of choosy, because I know some houndsmen that you do not want talking to public people.
Well,
no offense, Derek.
People. Clean up your acts a little bit, you suckers, and let's go.
I'm kidding. Benny, you do not want Benny there. I will say that out loud.
Benny, you got to put your suit on and show up with me next time. Dang it, come on.
It's tie. Yep.
Yeah, but it's
all you gotta do is get the Sunday bibs out, Benny, and
that's
put a shirt on.
I'll say it.
I'll go with
tie.
I'll go with you.
Let me take it from a different person's perspective that I was able to talk to at the Horse and Hounds and Mule sale. I was able to talk with Jared Nichols quite extensively, and I know Max and Jared. I get my mules off of them. They're great folks, and I got to talk with Jared, and Jared keeps to himself. He's just a guy who likes to keep to himself. He lives in a beautiful honey hole for a lion hunter. He's got his stuff set up. He doesn't need to come out of that hole. He doesn't need to. He's got a great deal back there. He came out and he contributed because he thinks it's important for this time at where we're at in the stage of our game, for people to contribute, for us to be, talking to each other, all of us throwing in and hey, everybody shows up to these events and we all, it's the whole spread out and everybody minds their own mountain and all that stuff. The days of that are over. We got to unite. We got to get together and to hear somebody who's been doing it for the last, 25, 30 years, very successfully say something like that has a lot of weight, and he doesn't need to be there. He didn't need to come. He was there because he wanted to contribute.
The problem is we wait until we have to be there.
Right.
And I think the solution is, there's nothing going on now, so why don't we have something going on now?
Absolutely.
Why don't we have an event?
Chris, I'm telling you what, man. It's like after Trump won the election, everybody's just like, "Oh, we're free again," and we have got nothing. Oh,
and here comes the public land crap.
Yep. And so you can't let your guard down at all.
Absolutely not.
The old saying is, "You make hay on a sunny day." Right now is a prime time for us to be
educating,
filling up the storehouses with all kinds of resources.
Yes, sir.
and getting ready, because this vacation isn't going to last forever. And if we sit back on our asses and think that everything is okay, we're going to get blindsided again.
Well, you're right. It's like once the whole we're going to try to take it away went away, everybody went away. Everybody said, we're good, but we're not.
We did it. We did it.
Woo!
Well, look at that video you found of those folks sitting down in Colorado. Look at that
right here.
They're getting together and having a little session, a little powwow behind the scenes, when we're all sitting here going, we're just fine. We got nothing going on. It's the calm before the storm, man.
I got to stop this podcast. Because come here. Because I have to show all these pictures my daughter's been drawing and said I had to show them. I don't know what that is. It's catnap. All these pictures. Look, that's green screen too. You can't even see that one.
Oh, there you
There's
go.
dogs.
Right
there's dogs treeing.
Okay.
That stinker in a tree.
Yeah. Green tree.
What is this? She don't even know what that is, but it's pretty. There's more dogs treeing.
She has to draw pictures because hunting with Chris, you didn't get to see that very often.
Yeah, that's the only way I don't know what that says, but I know what the picture is.
I love you.
Oh, I love you. Sorry.
Oh,
are you happy now? Are you good? Yeah, you want your picture back now?
Good job.
Great art. That was beautiful. Yeah,
like
that's
standing there. Yeah, that whole Chris is an asshole. Goes, I'm wrapped. My wife says I spoil him, and I got two of those. That look exactly the same.
That's great.
Yeah.
Anyway,
guys, I'm gonna cash it in. I got an early morning. You guys are 3 hours behind me, most of you. So
hey, we appreciate you coming on.
Hey, I want to tell you guys, I appreciate you guys getting together and all the work you're doing. The more voices we can get out there that keep spreading the message, it's all good. So thanks for allowing me to come on. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks, Chris.
We're just waiting for you to get off so we could talk some mad crap.
I'm gonna watch you. I'm gonna watch
I bet
YouTube
you.
after I get off.
I bet you.
All
Thanks,
right.
Chris. I
Hey,
appreciate it.
thanks,
We
everybody.
will see you
We'll
next year at the Horse, Hounds, and Mule sale for sure.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
We'll see you. I don't know how to get out of here.
Oh,
I'm always on the other end.
I'll just
Kick
kick
me
you out
out.
so I can say bye.
Hey guys, I'm checking out too. You guys have a good evening.
All right. Good night, Benny.
Sounds good, Benny. We appreciate you sitting there and just mad scowling Chris Powell for us. You don't have to say nothing. Just sit there and be Benny. There you go. All right, Benny.
See you.
There we go. You know,
Well, yeah, that was one of the best. Honestly, like it was way better than I thought it was going to be, and it was pleasantly surprised, I guess, as far as like the vent center and some houndsmen / cowboys putting it on kind of deal. Getting together and it's only going to grow. We want to. Jules and I were talking about it a little bit, and we're going to try to reach out to Trey and Wade, and hopefully we can figure out a way to contribute a little bit and try to bring something in. And I might have 12 whiskeys next year and pull out my guitar.
We'll bring our own. $5. I'm just saying. My wife cost me a little bit of money over there. So I said, hey, tomorrow we're picking it up and you can put it in your water bottle.
Yeah.
I think it is going to grow, just like the Hound Rendezvous. I think that's going to grow.
Yeah.
And it's a different venue. It's a whole different sort of environment. The Hound Rendezvous is what's supposed to happen there on Friday. I think they should have some horseshoe pits. I think they should have a fire, but we all know that they're going to get all this.
Yep.
They're going to get all this information. I told Chris and Trey, I said, hey, you got to get some signs out on those roads, because when you just put auction, horse auction, whatever, people will come in, and those are the people you're going to talk to, especially around Durango.
Yeah.
It's 20 minutes away. It's not that far away. And that's the people we need. And, there should be there's so many influencers. There's no reason we shouldn't have 30, 45-minute, hour-long hound. Honestly, I can't afford it. It costs money. It would cost probably $2,000 just in August. And this is why I started Anecdote of a Houndsman. My main goal was to do interviews at the campfire, raw interviews at the campfire. I wanted to, and it's hard because why? I got dogs. I want to hunt too, but and I've had to put that away a little bit. My dogs are all long nailed and fat, and but I need to, go hit these campfires. I don't care. You got dogs, pull in. Who are you? What do you do? Little interview.
Yep.
Seth Hall had that cool little recorder.
Yeah,
he ran around.
He was running around there.
And he just, what's your favorite dog? Why? How old is he? Where'd he come from? Just to have a little 10, 15-minute conversation like Brett does for hours at every campsite, just in unit 1, you'd have an hour video. And that kind of stuff needs to happen. That stuff needs to be passed around. And not like, I'm not saying houndsmen shouldn't show up to that premiere. Oh, here, just make you guys feel better.
Oh, yes, it does. Finally.
There you go. Even Derek. That stuff needs to happen. And I'm kind of, I don't know how to ask for money. And I've been asking for money lately. And I'm going to tell you what, when you have to ask for money, even though it's for a cause, it feels kind of shisty. I feel like the guy, I would probably raise more money with the styrofoam cup sitting on the freeway
I think that's
overpass.
Truthfully, Chris, that's why a lot of us don't do that, is because we're proud people. We're proud to be, self-efficient and things like that. And that's why a lot of guys don't want to start a type of organization. They don't want to go out and ask for essentially handouts, but it's not a handout. it's an investment into your, like I said, it's an investment into insurance to protect what we have. It's everything of it, just these little things like showing up to the rendezvous. If you're anywhere within a 4 to 5 hour drive of the Arizona Houndsman Rendezvous and you don't show up, what are you doing? What are you doing?
They're hunting. I've already heard it. I even put it on a weekend. You can show up, especially for out-of-staters. It don't cost much to hunt bear and lion and deer from out of state.
No.
But I got clients. Well, bring them over there. But what are they scared? 23 is a scary play. That's a big unit. That's a big, dirty unit.
It is. But even if you're just coming down to hang out, whatever it may be, it's just a matter of getting together, and we're going to have some raffles going on. It's not just a bunch of guys getting together, just shooting the stuff. We're trying to make this a legitimate event where everybody shows up.
Hey, give them a little sneak peek of your raffles.
I got a really good package in from Onyx today that we're going to be auctioning off. And I got some stuff coming in from Marsupial Gear. They're going to be sending some different pouches and things like that. I got some other different companies. Just show up and you'll see. We're going to have a lot of really cool stuff. It's going to be awesome. Like I got some really cool companies that are standing by. And that also, reaching out to these companies and talking to them, they love us. They want to support houndsmen. They really do. They want to be a part of what we've got going on. They think it's super cool. I've gotten nothing but positive responses from all the companies that I've spoke with, telling them this is what we're doing. This is what it's going towards. And, it's eventually a fight that we're going to probably have to fight. And, all the contributions are going back to AWDA. They're not going in Chris's pocket to make more freaking old bear meat tacos. Like, it's all going to.
I got some aged meat. I will raffle off.
Yeah, he's going to raffle off.
Hey, I think, what I did?
Yeah.
I gave Wayne Bisbee, sit here, open this. Just make sure you hear that when you open that can. If not, don't eat it.
Robert Chase.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what can you
Derek's muted, so we can't even hear him. That's the best part.
Am I muted? How am I muted?
You muted yourself. It wasn't me.
I think you've been muted for a while.
Oh, dang. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
Oh,
okay, guys. See you later. We're ending the show.
Yeah.
There it is.
No, we got to play offense.
It was honestly though, like it doesn't like bring your bedroll. Like if you don't, bring a bag of hot dogs and something like whatever.
Hey.
Like like Chris will cook for you if you ain't got the food to bring. Whatever. Everybody just needs to show up. It's about putting bodies on the ground and then everybody being there and everybody meeting each other and shaking your hand. It's a lot tougher to say screw you or whatever when you shook somebody's hand and looked them in the eyes and had a conversation and shared a story or two, and we're all in this for the same thing. We all got to be there. I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but it's going to be a cool event other than just the fact of showing up. It's going to be fun. We're all going to be there. Even just being at the Horse Hounds and Mules and sitting there having a beer with like Robert Chase, for instance, talking with those guys, having their booth right next to Dustin's booth. There was some absolutely great tack there. I got 2 saddles and 2 breast collars for $1,000, and their saddles are nice. They're all leather with solid trees and everything. I mean, they're beautiful. If you're in the Southwest and you have a hard time getting the mule saddle, show up to that sale next year. You won't have a hard time. There was a fellow there with Miele Mules, and he had about 15 different saddles that were all priced under $800. I mean, it was incredible, and it's like just stuff like that. It's like it alleviates some problems from you, and you got some different stuff. Whitaker Brothers had some great tack. They're making leather collars, stuff like that. Dustin's selling all the stuff from gear from Cold Strike. He's got collars and GPSs and everything there. It's like it's freaking fun. It's cool to have all that stuff right there. All the stuff that you really need to spend your money on, or any of us spend our money on, is right there. It's like it's super cool to have community. I don't care what anybody says. We need to start tightening it up a little bit more. And if we can even do like 2 rendezvous a year, I know it's tough because of the season and stuff like that, but I'll travel for one. If Colorado wants to start having one, or Utah wants to start having one, I'll go. I'm going with Dustin next year to that down Utah Houndsman Association, deal. I'm going to go to that. I want to be at all of them. I want to be able to just call. I want to have everybody's phone number in my phone. Even just being there. I found if you're having problems for sources for dog food, you got a bunch of houndsmen around you. Ask around. I found a guy, great man, Larry Johnson's hooking me up with, dog food guy, things like that. There you go. United Houndsmen of Colorado banquet right there. It's like we can show up to these things if you got the time. I understand not every time is always a convenient time, but some of us need to show up and do our best effort.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yep. But anyway,
I think Casey Fair just texted and said he'll have a litter of puppies at that time. He's planning on handing out.
Ooh.
So we might be doing some puppy raffles, and I know some of his dog lines. So that's going to be. He hunts his dogs. I'll tell you that. So if he's breeding dogs, he's breeding them for a reason.
Yep.
What else? So that, and then this weekend, if anybody wants to hit over by Clint's Wells area. Oh, that one says Jones Water. That's a lie. I don't have my new one. But I post it all the time. But it is July 26th. This weekend is the Hound Trials. Same thing. You get over there and meet some people. Donnie Randall, Seabar Hounds. F that guy. He keeps winning everything. But his dogs are new. They'll get tired of it soon.
But even just like being there to, cheer the kids on. Like, I don't got kids, but I'm going to go there. I'm not showing up with no dogs or nothing. I don't know. I might bring those Jared bred dogs or whatever. See what, if some play around with them a little bit.
That Jared bred dog I got.
Yeah.
Swam across and went to the tree.
Yeah.
First time ever done it.
Yeah. It's fun to see, it's good stuff. So.
We got the rendezvous August 22nd, 23rd, 24th. You can go to azhhr.com or azwda.com.
There we go.
What else we got going on this year? Anything else? It's about to be hunting season.
Yep.
So if you're going to the rendezvous, go buy a bear tag. Don't be afraid. You got Casey Fair there to tell you where your dog might be.
There's there that'll get you out of trouble if worse comes to worse. That's what it's all about.
and don't be scared to come if you ain't got dogs. Just come anyway. Bring a non-dog hunter. Like that's a great place.
Yeah. Yep.
And we still got the raffle for the AWDA watch, guys.
Oh yeah.
I don't have the picture. I thought I had a picture here. So we got 2 raffles right now. Look at that. I don't know if you can barely. It's green. AWDA has a little paw print on it. Go to azwda.com. Go to the raffle page, and we got the Arizona 1949 highways with Martin Glenn article in it, and then Kelly Glenn, Kelly Glenn, his daughter, gave us a bunch of signed stuff from Warner Glenn himself.
Wow.
There's awesome. A poster. That's a bigger poster. That's the one he caught. Another little poster, Eyes of the Fire, a magazine signed. So, yeah. AZWDA.com. Awesome. And all that money is going to keep you guys hunting in the field, because I'm going to tell you right now, I would bet money that CBD's coming back this fall when we're out in the field. And who's going to have to go, guys? Me. So I need your donation to pay for gas, so I don't have to sell that poor little girl that's over here drawing pictures. Maybe I'll raffle these off. Maybe I'll raffle these off.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't even know what it says.
Yeah. It says do better, Dad.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff going on. We got to play the offense. We got to quit playing defense.
Yes, sir.
We got to keep going to these hound rendezvous. We got to keep going to these banquets. Same thing. They're raising that money too.
And I think you're really onto something with the talking to people, like Seth does with his little interviews. More of that. Mm-hmm. More guys running more cameras responsibly. Because you look at the elk hunters, right? Look how many elk hunting YouTube channels get a bazillion views, right? And what do we got? 4 or 5 guys, that are getting big views. Yeah. Like there's no reason for that. There's not that few of us. Anywhere you go, there's guys everywhere. We just gotta get out from behind the shadows and
document share the tasteful stuff, keep the other stuff.
Yeah, responsibly run your camera for sure. Yeah. We don't need ripping game up in the middle of places with wildness like they do in some spots. But
Dustin, are you going to that?
No.
You're moving.
Yeah.
He's moving.
Moving is screwing up my mojo for the next little bit. So I will be there next year. I'll be at the rendezvous for sure. I'm not sure exactly what I'll have with me. Probably a whole trailer. So
after the rendezvous, it's going to be boot camp. Dustin and I are hitting the mountains hard.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
I may have to show up. And show that girl how to cook.
Let's go.
Shit. Chris will see a fresh piece of meat and not know what the hell to do with it.
I'm like, why is this so chewy? Why is this so chewy?
You got to roll that in dirt and put dog hair on it before Chris will know what to do with it.
And then you age it for 2 decades, you know what I mean?
Yep. Hey, good meat. Good meat.
Oh, shit.
Good
Anyway,
job, guys.
I'm out.
I'm trying to get off because look at him. He's about to Irish goodbye. I've seen him for 2 minutes roll his eyes.
Yeah.
Look at him. What? All right, guys. I appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir. Thank you. He
did.
I knew it. He had to.
Every time. Every time.
Yep. We will see you guys next week. And any other announcements?
No, I think that's it, man.
Anybody on here wants to go do some bear line hunting? Get hold of Brandon.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to learn Russian, get hold of Derek. I think he froze up. Yeah, he froze up.
No.
Oh, there he is.
All right, man.
If you guys have any videos, any interviews, send them over to us. We'll throw them on the show. Be cool to get everybody throws on a little 5-minute clip. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be cool.
So maybe even say, hey, I'm this guy. I got these dogs, and maybe a 2-3 minute clip we can play on the shows.
Yeah.
So,
Perfect.
If anybody
Oh, wait. I want Bone Pile to send me a video. You can blur your face out. You're probably ugly. So you can send us a video so we can watch your dog tree all these snakes or rabbits or squirrels, whatever you're chasing.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Next week we'll be back.
Yep. We'll see you then.
All right.
Absolutely.
Laters.
See ya.